Alrighty, welcome everybody to our July edition of the Foundations of Marketo Engage. This time we're going to be focusing on personalization. We have two great guest speakers here today in Beth Corby and Hannah Wilson. We'll get to introductions here in a second. But for me as your host, I'm Brad Bedford. I am an adoption marketing manager here at Adobe. You also may know me as the champion and user group guy. So if you are a part of a user group or a part of interested in being a part of the champion program, give me a shout. We'll get you see how we get you involved. But got a couple of housekeeping slides before we jump into the content. The first of which being is this is an Adobe user group. So remember the house rules, no self-promotion, do not contact people outside of the user group meeting without their consent. And please, if someone does share a specific use case, do not share that outside of the group. We want to keep those things, together, right? We don't want to share things without people's consent. This session is being recorded. If you do not feel comfortable watching recording for whatever that reason, go ahead and check us out on Experience League in about a week, and you can come back to it. But I will also send out the recording on YouTube probably tomorrow, so no problems there. And then the next one here is stay connected with our chapter. We are going to be doing 3 more of these between now and the end of the year, all with the goal of getting you all the knowledge that you need to take the professional certification exam for Marketo. So this is a great place. You're not too far behind. This is only our second session, so you only need to catch up on one, which is not too bad. But go ahead and scan that QR code, or I'll drop the link here in a few minutes. So you can go ahead and join the chapter and get automatic notifications for all of our next sessions that we have coming up. The other big announcement that I wanted to make is I am working on a special discount. So for any person that attends all 5 sessions live, there may be a discount for that professional exam coming up. So stay tuned for more details on that one. So can't miss these. And then we have, if you like the style of these sessions and learning from other thought leaders and other experts, we have our skill exchange coming up on August 20th. We have 4 great sessions from 5 great speakers. I'll be there myself moderating and chopping it up with our presenters. We're going to be all focused on AI, a little more of an advanced use case. So I know this course is more focused on beginners, but if you're feeling about testing the deep end of the pool on Marketo Engage, go ahead and register for that. It's a great place to kind of network and talk and connect with some of the product team, as well as we'll have a number of those folks attending this session. All right, quick shout out for the upcoming user groups. We always do this to let you know what else is happening out there in the world. So today was a big day. We got Milwaukee, the foundational one that you're on today, Salt Lake, and St. Louis. Tons and tons and tons of sessions happening today, which is fantastic. And then Austin has 2 big ones coming up. The first one being virtual next week, and then we have our big all Texas mega meetup on August 8th. That's one you don't want to miss. So if you're in Texas, or if you find yourself in Austin for whatever reason on August 8th, and you're a Marketo user, we got a couple great partners that are going to be there. We have some champions driving and flying in. Courtney Edwards-Jones is flying all the way from Manchester to attend this one. So it'll be a great one for you to join up with. Full day session there as well. And then for international folks, we have tomorrow our event in Singapore, and then in a couple of weeks, a couple of great ones happening in Japan. All right, and then the last slide that I have for y'all today is we really appreciate your feedback. We want to hear what you think of Marketo Engage. If it's positive, that's fantastic. If it's not so great, let us know that too, so we can help improve the product. But please try and review us on G2 and Trust Radius if you have not done so before. That is a real big way that helps me out, helps Adobe out, helps our presenters out. So if you get a chance, definitely give us a shout on G2 and Trust Radius. And with that, I will turn it over to our presenters today. I introduced them earlier, but we have Beth Corby and Hannah Wilson, both from Shift Paradigm today. So Beth, when I turn it over to you, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll turn it over to Hannah and get into the slides.
Yeah, as Brad said, my name is Beth Corby. I have been in Marketo for several years. I'm not going to say how many. And I'm expert certified. I am a subject matter expert. I helped write some of the exams, and I'm also used to be a master. I will be renewing that this year. One of my favorite things to do is to enable teams to use Marketo and use it in a way that gets them the best output of reports and enabling them to do things where they can do the fun stuff like personalization, which is really quick and easy in Marketo. So I'm looking forward to today. Hannah, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Thanks, Beth. My name is Hannah Wilson, and I'm the Senior Marketing Manager here at Shift. I've been at Shift for a little over 8 years and in Marketo for about 4 years. So back in 2021, we transitioned to Marketo from HubSpot internally. So since then, I've gotten a lot of my Marketo experience from hands-on application, as well as leveraging my colleagues at Shift like Beth and a few others on this call who work in Marketo consulting for our clients. So I got my expert certification back in November 2022, and now I'm the Marketo admin for Shift as an organization. So like Beth said, excited to get into this. So from an agenda perspective, Brad, you can go to the next slide. We are going to start with understanding why personalization is so critical in today's crowded digital landscape. And then we'll dive into the how. So I'll walk you through segmentations, how to build out dynamic content in a Marketo email. Then Beth will walk you through how to utilize tokens, snippets, A/B testing, and then finally we'll end by putting it all together. So 2 quick quotes for why personalization matters. So according to Adobe and Incisive, basic personalization boosts conversions by 2.3%, but top tier one-to-one personalization can drive conversion rates of up to 43.9%, which is a massive difference in ROI. And we as consumers have higher expectations than ever before. We expect brands to know who we are, what we're interested in, what problems we want to solve. When you receive a message that feels like it was written just for you, it stands out. So this leads to significantly improved engagement. So I'm going to be more likely to open an email, click a link, or respond to an offer if it's relevant to me. And ultimately, this translates to better business results. So according to Adobe and PwC, companies delivering truly personalized experiences grew 1.7 times year over year in incremental revenue and more than doubled customer lifetime value. So think about Netflix or Amazon. They don't show you everything that they have to offer. They show you what they think you'll like based on past behavior. They recommend shows to you. They recommend products, and that's personalization in action. So I'd like to open the floor to the audience. Is there a brand that comes to mind when we talk about personalization that really stands out to you? Spotify. Yeah, Netflix for me too, or Amazon. It'll show me like based off of a dress that I bought, it'll show me like 3 more that how can I not buy them? I have to. Perfect, I love it. So let's talk about segmentation. So if personalization is the what, segmentation is the how. To personalize, you first need to understand who you're talking to. So a segmentation in Marketo is a way to divide your audience into mutually exclusive groups based on shared characteristics. So by segmenting, you can send highly targeted messages that resonate with specific groups rather than sending a generic email blast. In Marketo, you can segment your audience using a wide variety of criteria, which I'll show you in a little bit. This could be basic demographics like industry or job title, or more advanced behavioral data, like which pages they visited on your website, which emails they've opened, or even their lead score. So to cover off on these key points of segmentation in Marketo, segments are predefined and evaluated when someone qualifies for them. Each person can only belong to one segment per segmentation, and you can use them in Marketo emails, landing pages, and snippets for personalization. So let's take a look at common use cases. You can segment based on personas. Do you want this message to target a problem a decision maker might be facing, or do you want to provide actionable step-by-step content for practitioners? You can segment based on lifecycle stages. Is this message meant for a customer, a lead, or an MQL? So this could look like an exclusive client dinner invitation, additional content for an MQL who downloaded your latest guide, or an upcoming webinar for a lead that's struggling with a problem you think your organization can solve. And you can segment based on industry, like healthcare, finance, and technology industries that have different pain points and strategies, and they deserve messaging that reflects this. Lastly, you can segment based on region. So messages in different languages may apply to different parts of the world, or your organization may have different regional offerings and products. So now let's jump into Marketo. I'm going to demo how to build out a segmentation. So now I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up a basic segment. As you can see here, I'm navigating to the database section of Marketo, and you'll see folders for smart lists, group smart list lists, and finally segmentations. So I went ahead and created a segmentation called executive personas that we will use throughout this call. So when I build that out, you'll see I have different personas, different segments based on job title. So CEO, CFO, CIO, CMO, COO, CSO. And when creating a segment, you'll see up at the top, they have a smart list where you can add your criteria. So for CEO specifically, I added the filter job title is, and then any of these two values. So CEO or Chief Executive Officer. Same thing with CFO. Their job title will contain CFO or Chief Financial Officer, and so on and so forth. But to show you how to create a segment, I will go ahead and add one more. So I just right-clicked on the executive personas and hit Edit Segment. And here you'll see the 6 segments that I've already created, as well as a default. So that default segment is what everyone defaults to if they don't belong to one of these 6. And as I mentioned before, you can only belong to one. So if they are in the CEO segment, they will not be in the default segment. So now I'm going to add a new segment called CGO for Chief Growth Officer. So all I did was hit Add Segment. I typed in CGO, and I'm going to hit Save. Now you'll see under my drafts that CGO is an option, and I'm going to go add in those job title filters. So in my person attributes, I'm going to select job title. I'm going to add CGO and Chief Growth Officer. So now you'll see in my smart list, job title is any of CGO or Chief Growth Officer. So now that I have all of those segments built, I'm going to go ahead and right-click on Executive Personas and hit Approve. So now I'm approving this segmentation. And once it's approved, it is ready to use in emails and landing pages or Marketo snippets. So transitioning back to the deck, let's talk about dynamic content. So now that we know how to group our audience using segmentation, how do we use that to make our marketing more personal? That's where dynamic content comes in. Dynamic content is exactly what it sounds like. It allows you to personalize sections of your email or landing page based on those segmentations. So instead of creating multiple versions, you create one asset that displays different content depending on who's viewing it. So this has saved me a ton of time in situations where instead of creating 10 different email versions for 10 different segments or 10 different lists, I can create one email and tell Marketo which content block should appear for which segment. This dramatically increases relevance and engagement because your audience sees content that directly applies to them. So think about something like sending an email about wanting to book a demo. If you have customers in different departments, you could show a different content block or testimonial depending on what their overarching business goals are. Or you could show a different product feature that most resonates to their specific role. So let's cover off on these key points. Dynamic content saves time, so there's no need to clone and tweak multiple assets. Dynamic content ensures content stays relevant and targeted. Dynamic content improves email engagement and conversions by speaking directly to your users. So now let's take a look at common use cases. So you can implement persona-based customization. You can adjust tone, benefits, or CTAs for different personas, like those executive personas versus somebody like a practitioner. You can adjust content based on life cycle stages. You can tailor copy for leads, MQLs, customers, or renewals all in one email or landing page. You can write industry-specific messaging, highlighting those different pain points between verticals, benefits, or case studies. And lastly, you can localize messaging based on region or language. So as I mentioned before, you can adjust that language, time zones, compliance messaging, or featured events. So now let's get back into Marketo. So now we have an approved segmentation over here, executive personas, and it has the green check mark to show that it's approved. Now I'm going to go into marketing activities and I'm going to actually open up an email to plug in that dynamic content. So here I am in a dummy program. I'm going to go to local assets, emails, and then strategic solutions. So as I mentioned, let's go in and see how we can target these different executive personas to book a demo based on their overarching goals. So here we have the standard email template in Marketo's editor. And you can see here, I will delete this. So you can see we have a pretty basic canned email. So are you ready for strategic growth in 2025? In today's rapidly evolving business landscape, executive leaders like you are constantly seeking innovative ways. At Shift, we understand we've helped companies like you. Here's how we do it. CTA to book a demo. Great email, but not quite tailored to the job titles that we want. So I'm going to go back to edit the draft. And in between these two modules, I'm going to add a text-only module. So this is where I want my dynamic content to appear. So right now it just has our templated copy, but I want to add a little bit of a customization to this copy. So you'll see here's the content block. There's a gear on the right-hand side that allows you to move the module up or down, duplicate it, delete it, but you'll also see there's the copy module. So clicking into the copy module, a new gear will show up. I'm going to click that and you'll have a few different options. So edit, clear content, make dynamic, or replace with snippet. So I'm going to click make dynamic and Marketo will ask me how I want to segment. So I'm going to go to that executive personas segment that we just created and I'm going to hit save. So now you'll see on the right-hand side, all of the executive personas that we created. So like I mentioned, the default segment is the segment that encapsulates anyone who's not in those executive personas. So there's going to be default copy here. CGO that we just created, we're going to want to change the copy. So a CGO is a leader that's focused on growth. So I'm going to take a canned piece of text and just paste it in. So I'm targeting him by saying, leverage our advanced analytics to uncover new market opportunities and accelerate your revenue streams. Perfect. So you'll see that copy now aligns with the CGO who cares about growth. The CFO, he is going to care more about efficiency. So I'm going to paste a statement that highlights efficiency. So our performance streamlines your workflow automation, reducing operational costs by up to 25%. CIO, she cares about innovation. So I'm going to paste in a blurb about innovation, future-proof your business with our cutting-edge technology, and so on and so forth. So CSO, they also care about innovation. I'm going to paste that statement in. CMO cares about growth. COO is going to care about efficiencies. CEO cares about growth. So now each segment that we've identified now has tailored copy to what they care about as a leader. So CGO cares about new market opportunities. COO cares about reducing operational costs. Chief Strategy Officer cares about cutting edge technology. So when I send this email out now, anyone who falls into those executive personas will get their customized dynamic content. So the most important part here I would recommend is using the preview button. So going up to the top right, previewing your email, and then selecting up here in the nav bar, this view by dropdown. You can view by segmentation. Executive personas populates, and then each of those 7 segments plus the default populate. So CEO, CFO, CGO. You'll see each time that copy changes based on the segment that we mapped it to. So this is incredibly powerful because you send one email, but it automatically delivers the most relevant message to each individual, which dramatically increases its impact. So now I'm going to pass it over to Beth, who's going to walk you through tokens.
So I'm going to dive into tokens. And what's great about tokens is they are a way to easily personalize your emails. So it's basically a placeholder, and you take that placeholder, put it in certain areas within your email, and it will populate based on data or what you put in that token. And it really helps you personalize things at scale. So there are a vast array of tokens, but I'm going to concentrate really on the tokens that help to personalize. You have your lead token and company tokens, and that's where you can put in data points from either what's in Marketo or even fields that are coming in from your CRM. So you could say hello first name and put their actual first name in there. You could reference their industry or maybe the other data points that are important. Maybe you need to add a renewal date or something like that. Really great to make sure the messaging is personalized to them. Other tokens that we have or you'll see is system tokens. There are program tokens, trigger tokens, campaign tokens. Tokens are a hot commodity in Marketo. And program tokens, folder tokens, and global tokens are essentially almost the same. They're very similar, where program tokens are at the program level, folder tokens are at the folder level, and any program within that folder would inherit them. And then Marketo, I'm so happy, has recently launched the global tokens. And that means every program that you have in Marketo will inherit those tokens. So great way to personalize. Some common use cases are, like I talked about, you can put a first name in a greeting. You could use a renewal date if needed, or any data point. It's really good to use tokens within events because you can reference an event date. You can use event dates within your wait steps, which is fun. You can put in the webinar link. You also have scalable footers where you can personalize your CTAs with tokens. One cool thing you could also do is populate UTM data on the use of tokens with some of the URLs you have in your email. And again, with the program tokens, the folder tokens, and the global tokens, you could use those across assets like emails and landing pages, so that when you actually go to build that, you don't have to go in the email itself. You just update a bunch of tokens and it will all go in with the format that you want it. So I'm going to do a quick demo on tokens. We're going to do a few tokens here. I am in Marketo, and I'm going to go to this folder here, same environment that Hannah was sharing. Please forgive us. It seems like this environment is a little quirky, which is okay. I'm going to go into local assets, and I'm going to do this token and snippet demo email. And I'm going to go ahead and create a draft. Now, this is a pre-built email that I put together for demo purposes. And what I'm going to do in here, because I want to personalize it, I'm happy to have you attend my demo, but I want to put the person's first name in it. So I'm going to go over here. I'm actually going to put that at the end, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to insert a token, and I'm going to look for the first name field, and it pops up as I search for it. So I'll click on that first name field, and I want a default value, because unfortunately maybe some people get into the database and the first name field is not populated. So I'm going to put the default value as you, in case that field is not populated. And I'm going to put insert, and it does put it at the end, but I'm going to copy and paste it and put it over where the U is and remove it at the end. And now I have my subject line that is going to be personalized to the people that you send it to. I'm also going to go into this text here, and I'm going to put a first name here, just make it more personalized again. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go into this little tokens icon, and I'm going to do a first name again. And I'm going to say there as the default value, because then it will say hello there. And I'm going to hit insert, and now your copy is personalized. You can also add tokens again within the top copy. Like one thing that I've seen commonly is a renewal day or things like that. I'm going to hit save, and there we go. We have our token in there. And then down, when you see, when I get into the snippets, there's also going to be another global token in there, which I'll talk about when we dive into the snippets. But you can see it's very easy to add in tokens. It's very scalable in nature. Another thing you could do is at the program level or the folder level or the global level, you can go in and you can go to my tokens on the program, and you can create tokens for yourself. So if you want to easily add a subject line without actually going into the email to edit it, or if you want to just put the body copy in the token versus again going into the email, you can do that. So I'm going to just take this body. Well, let's do something simpler. So because we're getting close on time, I'm going to do the reply to address. I'm going to copy that token, and I'm going to go back into the email, and I'm going to put that token here and here. And then I'm going to go back to that token, and we can see that the reply to address is reply@domain.com. The from label, or the from email address, is email@.com. So if I go and preview that, and keep in mind this is a demo instance, so I think we're having trouble with our images, but you can at least see up here at the top, those tokens where that we use is showing. So you can easily use tokens within your assets of emails and landing pages. So great use, and very quick way to personalize and make it tailored to that specific person that you're sending to. So let's talk about snippets. Snippets is basically a content area within Marketo, and you can drop a snippet into multiple emails, And if you update that snippet, it will update across those emails. You can use snippets in emails and landing page as well. A great thing about snippets is those can also be used with dynamic content, like Hannah showed, where you could tailor it for different reasons. Snippets are great for centralized updates. So if you need to change something like a common header or a common footer, you can definitely do that with a snippet because you only have to update it once. You don't have to go into a million emails to make that update. And it's definitely, because of that, it's definitely great for consistency overall. And it does save time and reduce errors. So snippets are a great tool. I usually see them a lot within footers and headers, and it's also a great way to make sure you're using the right footer at the right time. So if you have a footer for people that are located in the US, you want to make sure that's the US information in that footer. If you have a footer for the EMEA region, you want to make sure that that footer is for that EMEA region. Other use cases is you could use it for targeted messaging. You could definitely, if you had common messaging for different types of industries and you want to use that within your communications, you can do that. And of course, dynamic headers, banners, and footers. So again, I'm going to go in and demo this really quick. If you go into the design studio of Marketo, I'm just going to refresh really quick. I think I hit that refresh too fast. Okay. And you go into the snippet sections. This is where snippets are built. I'm going to go ahead and open up the EMEA version. And if I look at this snippet, you will see it's really close to what it looks like if you're in your email editor. So you have the ability to edit this as needed. So this is just a standard snippet for the EMEA region. It's for a footer. You can see right here, there's one of those wonderful tokens that is automatically populating the copyright year. Because let me tell you, in the past, I have updated copyright year for over a bunch of emails, and I realized, oh, I can use a token because it will update across all of the emails automatically. And then over here, you can also put in the dynamic content. So if you had multiple languages that this was in, you can definitely update it to those languages. So it's just your standard editor. You could also throw HTML in there if you wanted to. Again, a great way to have commonality. And then if something were to happen to update within that text or area, you can easily update it once and it would update across all your assets, which is amazing. So I'm going to close this out. Now, make one of the weird, quirky things here I'm going to say is when you edit a snippet, there's nothing to say approve or close, right? So you'll just want to make sure it auto saved up here. And I typically just close it and then approve it within I didn't make any updates, so it didn't show anything, but just make sure you approve it after you make the updates within the folder structure, because there's no button in there to approve it. So I'm going to go back into my email and I'm going to go ahead and I am going to add that snippet into my email. So I'm going to scroll to the bottom. There's this area here. And if I hit this little, very similar to when you added dynamic content, I'm just looking for this gear and I'm going to replace with snippet. And I'm going to add that EMEA snippet in here and save. And there you go. It automatically shows up. And then if I have this email in a nurture or an engagement program, and that something in that, maybe there's legal reasons where that disclaimer needed to be updated. All I have to do is go into the snippet, update it, and it will update it across all emails that's using that snippet. So very scalable way, and you can definitely personalize that with the dynamic content and adding tokens within it overall. So I'm going to come back to the presentation here, and I think the last topic we're going to go into is A/B testing. A/B testing is going to be important because it's a really great way to look at your emails and understand what's working and what's not. So A/B testing is a way for you to compare a couple versions of an email and understand which one is performing the best. So you can learn which subject lines resonate with your audiences. You can learn what CTAs do people typically click on, or what wording within those CTAs do people click on. And overall, I always suggest, if you're going to A/B test, make sure you have a global way or a way to look at it holistically, so you can see all your A/B tests across the board. So whether that's within a tool or within a spreadsheet, whatever way, just be able to look at it holistically so you can analyze those A/B tests and see what's relevant, what's working with your audiences. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dive into Marketo and show you how to do an A/B test. So I have this A/B test demo here. In the A/B testing in an email type program is fairly seamless and very easy. So you're going to go into the program itself. I might have to refresh. Hold on one second. Okay, you're going to go into the overall program in itself, and you're going to look for the control panel. So the control panel is here. I'm going to select my email. So I'm going to pick the original email that I started with, right? And I'm going to say, okay, I want to A/B test, and I want to A/B test a subject line. So I'm going to, or not a subject line, I'm sorry, I'm going to A/B test a CTA in this case. So when you're testing a CTA, you're going to need two versions of an email. So you're going to essentially in this one pick a whole email. And then I'm going to start off with that first email that I showed the token and the snippet in. And then I'm going to next show the A/B testing demo. And what we're comparing here is a CTA that says book a demo versus a CTA that says talk to sales. We want to know which one works better. So I want this to be automated too. I don't want to have to come back into Marketo and do any manual work. So I'm going to send this first test to about 15% of my list, because I'm sending it to about 150,000 people. So I want to send 15% to this list, and I want to see which one works the best. And then I want to send the winning CTA to the rest of the group, so they get the one that's resonating the best. So in your winner criteria, typically when we're talking about which CTA we're gonna go based on clicks, I'm always one to make sure it's automatic. I don't want to have to manually come in here. That's the point of having marketing automation. So definitely try to choose automatic. And then in the schedule, I like to make sure there's about 2 or 3 days between. It takes time for people to, they could be out of office, they come in and they click it later. So try to make it at least a couple days before you send the winning version of the email. But send your first test at a specific time, wait a couple days, and then the A/B test will automatically send to the rest of your audience using the winning version of the CTA. So great way to make sure your email is, for the majority of your audience, is getting the CTA that's resonating the most with the audience. There's all things you can test in here. You can also test subject lines. You can test date and time. You can test the from address. Test. That's the only way you're going to know what works the best. So I'm going to bring back the presentation here, and we're going to bring this all together. So basically, this is a example use case, a very high level one, and it really involves some of the things that we showed you guys today. So we're looking at things like we're a B2B tech company, basically. Let's pretend, and we need a targeted email campaign to engage executive personas. And this is across the EMEA team. The goal is to increase demo bookings by delivering a message that speaks directly to business leaders. So with what all we showed you today, you should be able to accomplish that with with a segment, dynamic content, a token, snippet, and an A/B test really easily. We're going to start by looking at our segment. That is the executive persona or segment that Hannah had showed you. We'll layer in dynamic content. We'll use a token to make it even more personalized and put their name in it. We'll add snippets for efficiency so that they know it's from EMEA. And then finally, always test and optimize. So from there, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I was really excited to present this with Hannah. We would like to open it up for some questions here. Brad, should we just go through the Q&A or? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm back.
Okay.
So Hannah's been answering a few in there already.
Okay.
But I think there's a couple that are in here maybe we haven't answered. Is it sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, but if it's Sackett's got a question about he's wanted to touch base on what was it?
Person tokens versus lead token.
Multivariate testing real quick if we have time with a use case. Here, let me just pull him off mute and see if we can have him explain exactly what you're doing here.
Okay.
All right, Sackett, you should be able to come off mute now. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. If not, no worries. We can come back to it later. You could always add a discussion topic in the event afterwards. That's totally fine as well. But I do see one in here from Jacqueline. Do you recommend sending emails to maximize open rates based on the different audience size and time?
Open rate based on, I'm sorry, what was it?
I know this depends on the audience, but is there a specific time you recommend sending emails to maximize open rates?
That can be different for different industries, I would say. I would also say, like, I typically think like a Tuesday through Thursday morning or afternoon works best. I don't like to send emails like during lunch or anything, but you really should look into what works best for your business because it could be different. Like it's going to be different between B2C and B2B and what industries you're in. So it's really dependent. So again, test, see where you see most of the opens.
Yeah, and I'll say from Adobe's perspective, we try to hit everybody Tuesday in the morning,
Yeah.
depending on what your time zone is. But Hannah, what
We're
are your
the
thoughts?
same. Yeah, we're the same. Shift will send out emails like 7 a.m. Central Time, early in the morning, Tuesday, Thursday. We've seen our best engagement.
Sweet. And I think Dominic had a question. He raised his hand and asked to be able to come off mute. So Dominic, go for it if you can. And then Kay's up next.
Hi, Dominic.
In the chat, Dominic said, "I wish I could unmute."
All right, we're gonna see if we can give some folks some of their abilities here. Okay, sounds good.
Beth, Jacqueline asked another question that I'd love to get your take on.
Okay.
She said, how many tokens are recommended in an email personalized emails are great, but using too many can feel overwhelming?
So I don't mind tokens, to be honest. I'm the type person who likes to automate things and make things my life easier. So I've tokenized programs, email programs that are common, and tokenized it fully because all I have to update is the tokens and it automatically updates in the email. So I call it tokenized. I've tokenized programs fully in my past. So I don't think there's too many tokens in my mind.
That's what I
Yeah.
said. I use as many program level tokens as I can. And for Shift last year, we were running maybe 14 different webinar programs simultaneously. So
Yeah.
I started out with that first one and I tokenized it at the program level with like the webinar title, the date,
Mhm.
link to the registration. And then that way I could just clone the program over and over again and only have to update those handful of tokens.
Yeah.
Um, so that saved me a lot of time.
I also, I think Dominic probably put his in the chat. Could we give some more detail on emailing retail customers versus B2B customers? It probably could be its own discussionary topic. So let me just keep this one to like maybe like one high level idea, but let me hear your thoughts on that.
So I would say, when you're working with business to business, it's going to be a little bit different from retail because retail, I would say like that's where I see things like where you have emojis in the subject line and it seems more personalized. Where business, they want to be a little bit more professional in my mind. So the email structure usually is different. That's one thing I've seen. Uh, I don't know, Hannah, any other thoughts there?
I think the frequency too,
Yep.
emailing every day versus once a week, twice a week. Um, Retail customers, I know I get emails every day from the same
Yeah,
company, from Gap, from
absolutely.
Target, from whoever versus B2B.
Multiple times per day sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
on the Shift side, I like to keep it to 2 emails a week
Yeah.
max.
In the
I also
B2B realm, they seem to like get a little frustrated if you're emailing them too much, where retail makes more sense. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll mention this as myself. It's like also think about what your core goal is of what you're trying to accomplish by emailing a retail customer versus a B2B customer, right? Is the
Exactly.
end goal to make a sale? Because if so, we know that the lead time and of a B2B customer buying something is significantly longer. So you continuously hitting them every single day in an inbox, that's not going to probably drive them towards the sales line. If anything, they're going to be like, get this guy out of my inbox or girl, whoever's emailing me, right? Whereas on the retail side, there's cart abandonment, follow-ups. There's tons of different reasons why someone might want to hear from somebody. I think about I think like a Temu or like a one of
Yeah.
the pop-up. Well, I'm trying to think of what we can call those. The new age Amazons from China. They're trying to get things to you quick. Like they're releasing things all the time to people that way. So that would be another portion that I make.
Sure. Kay, I see you have a question around your webinar URL tokens. That is assuming you are using Adobe Interactive Webinars. I'm happy to take that offline with you. I think I see the issue, but I will shoot you an email to help fix that token for you.
And Elise, thank you for noting that there's a limit of 40 custom field tokens. That is a lot of tokens to be using in an email. So yeah, there is a limit on tokens. So everybody keep that in mind. So thank you for calling that out, Elise.
And
40
someone
is
else,
great. Go
sorry,
ahead, Beth.
somebody else called out not being able to use dynamic content in the new Marketo email editor, which that is the case. Today Beth and I were demoing the old email editor, but this opens up a great door to a secondary presentation around how to use the new email editor and
Yeah.
customize, personalize the new features as well.
And they are launching dynamic. It's going to be called something different, though, I believe, but they are going to be launching the dynamic content feature, but it's called something else. I can't think of off the top of my head right now. Cool.
Sweet. I see some more questions that came through in the
Oh, good.
chat.
Okay.
Oh, I think it was Kay. Yep, URL. I think she posted that. Okay. Brittany's got one in here. Running holiday campaigns. We are B2B, and it seems that customers' marketing teams focus too much on feel-good campaigns.
Yes, I actually agree. I do see when I was first working in the world of Marketo, we were sending a lot of feel good campaigns versus personalizing it, make it more relevant to the client, and we didn't do well. So I agree that shouldn't be the case. You should focus on the solutions you're providing, the pain points you're going to be fixing for them, and making it personalized to them to make it relevant to them. So yes, absolutely.
Agreed. They're going to get plenty of emails from Gap and Target about happy holidays,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
Unless you're Netflix and you're coming out with your holiday Christmas movies, I don't know, if people want to hear from you on that. Yeah.
I definitely watch the Netflix emails. So that and American Eagle. So
Ooh, and Old Navy 4th of July,
yeah.
another hitter. All right. All right. Cool. Let's see. We got maybe one more. Yeah, filter bot activity equals 0 second. That's okay. All right. All right. Should we set it to 0 second? Oh, I'm sorry. This is a question. All right. Okay. I'm not sure I understand what that question is. Please use the discussion topic. So on the event page that I linked, I'll drop it again in the Q&A section. If you do want to have any follow-up discussions, go ahead and start a discussion right on the event, and then we can follow up with you guys there to continue to have these conversations so they're public. Also, feel free to make a post on Marketing Nation as well. Another great place to get feedback. Sanford Whiteman, his fingers are always on the keyboard ready to answer your questions if he's not. If Beth and Hannah are working with the clients, so always
Yeah,
feel free
you
to
can't
post there.
compete with Sanford Whiteman.
No, no. Also, I will call out as well, Sanford and Igna, who are our user group leaders out of New York. They do at least once a month, sometimes twice a month, office hours, and those are some of the two greatest minds in Marketo, along with Beth, along with Hannah. I'm not putting myself anywhere near that category. I will just lift these folks up. But we have a lot of great resources around K for you, so tons of places for you to get those questions answered. I've even started seeing people post on Reddit recently. I don't know how much success that has had, but I've seen the
Oh,
Reddit page for Marketo getting more active lately. So
Yeah, when I was taking my certification back in 2022, I was so disappointed that there weren't more pointers on Reddit from Marketo.
stay tuned. We have our final session led by our speaker from last month, Adrian Navarro, is all about using all different types of resources to get certified or getting prepared for your certification exam. And one of those is a GPT that he pulls from Reddit and from Marketing Nation. So cool. All right, sweet, Brittany. All right, guys. Well, I think that's a good place to leave it for now. We will have our next session coming up in the beginning or middle of August, I should say. I think we're targeting August 13th. Still trying to work on the date, but it should be live tomorrow. I'll make sure to send out the registration link and the recording from today and the slides to everybody. And that next session is led by James Leadham, and we're going to be talking about nurturing. So stay tuned. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. And if you have any more questions, chat up Beth, Hannah, make a post on Marketing Nation, and we'll try to get back to you. Have a great one.
thanks, guys.
Thank you.